Thomas Jefferson wasn't just a founding father. He was a mastermind of innovation, a collector of secrets, and a man full of contradictions.
But did you know he kept grizzly bears at the White House? Or that he invented something you're probably sitting in right now? Today we're uncovering 20 shocking secrets about Thomas Jefferson that will completely change the way you see him. Number 20. The swivel chair revolution. Imagine this. Jefferson is drafting the Declaration of Independence, but he's frustrated by the stiff, clunky chairs of his time. So what does he do?
He modifies a Windsor chair, adding a rotating base, inventing the swivel chair. This tiny tweak made his workspace more flexible, and today, nearly every office chair traces back to his clever innovation.
A founding father, and the father of the modern office chair.
Number 19. His wildest pets were grizzly bears.
Most people settle for a dog or cat, but Jefferson went full-on wilderness mode. A friend gifted him 2 live grizzly bears, and instead of getting rid of them right away, he kept them on the White House lawn. Imagine visiting the president and seeing 2 massive roaring bears as part of the welcoming committee. Eventually, even Jefferson realized they were a bit much and sent them to a museum. Number 18. The multilingual mastermind. Jefferson didn't just help shape America, he spoke its languages, and then some.
He was fluent in English, French, Italian, and Latin, dabbled in Greek and Spanish, and even tried learning Arabic.
His multilingual skills weren't just for show. They gave him an edge in diplomacy and let him read European texts in their original form. A president, a scholar, and basically an 18th century Duolingo champion. Number 17, the secret code machine espionage war and secret messages. Jefferson was way ahead of his time. He designed a device called the Jefferson disk, an early encryption tool used to send coded messages. It was so advanced that the U.S. military used a similar concept in World War II. Jefferson wasn't just shaping the future of America, he was shaping the future of cryptography. Number 16. Jefferson versus his own wallet. For a guy who helped build America's economy, Jefferson was terrible with money. He inherited a mountain of debt and then made things worse with lavish spending. Even Monticello, his grand estate, became a financial nightmare. By the time he died, he owed over $100,000, an insane amount for that era. Imagine the guy on the $2 bill being deep in debt. Number 15. The secret expedition. Before Lewis and Clark. Everyone knows about Lewis and Clark, but what if I told you Jefferson sent a different explorer first? In 1803, before the famous duo set out, Jefferson secretly hired William Dunbar to map out the southern Louisiana Territory. The mission was so low profile that most history books never mention it. Why? Because Spain still claimed parts of the land, and Jefferson wanted to keep it hush-hush. Number 14. He built his own mansion from scratch. Jefferson wasn't just a politician, he was an architect. His home, Monticello, wasn't designed by a professional. Nope, he designed it himself. Inspired by European styles, he spent decades tweaking and rebuilding it, adding cool inventions like hidden dumbwaiters, skylights, and an early copying machine. Every inch of Monticello was a reflection of his obsession with design and innovation. Number 13. He hated factories. While Alexander Hamilton pushed for industrialization, Jefferson had a different vision: a nation of farmers. He feared that factories and urbanization would create poverty and inequality. In his mind, America's strength came from independent landowners, not factory workers. It was a huge debate that shaped America's future, and let's just say, Hamilton got his way. Number 12. He almost didn't write the Declaration of Independence. You'd think Jefferson jumped at the chance to write America's most important document. Nope! He actually tried to refuse. John Adams and Benjamin Franklin were supposed to help, but they convinced Jefferson to take the lead, with Adams famously saying, "You can write 10 times better than I can." Reluctantly, Jefferson took on the job, and the rest is history. Number 11. The science-obsessed president. Jefferson wasn't just about politics, he was obsessed with science. He filled Monticello with telescopes, barometers, and even a homemade clock. But his love for discovery didn't stop there. He collected prehistoric fossils and even sent mammoth bones to Europe to prove that America had bigger, better animals. Jefferson was basically a DIY scientist before it was cool. Number 10. He tried to rewrite the Bible. Jefferson had a bold take on religion. He believed the Bible was filled with unnecessary supernatural elements, so he edited his own version.
He removed miracles and divine acts, keeping only Jesus' moral teachings.
The result: the Jefferson Bible, one of the most controversial edits of all time. He never published it, but today it's studied as a fascinating mix of faith and philosophy. Number 9. The ice cream pioneer. America loves ice cream, and Jefferson helped make it popular. While in France, he fell in love with the frozen treat and brought one of the first ice cream recipes back to the U.S. He even built an ice house at Monticello just to store it.
His personal vanilla recipe is one of the oldest in America. So next time you eat ice cream, thank Jefferson for the scoop. Number 8. He wanted to change time itself. Jefferson didn't just question governments, he questioned the entire calendar.
Inspired by France, he supported decimal time, where the day was split into 10 equal hours instead of 24. His plan? Revolutionize timekeeping. But nobody else liked the idea. The traditional clock won and decimal time was left in the past. Still, it proves that Jefferson questioned everything. Number 7. He had a secret spy name. Presidents today have Secret Service code names, but Jefferson had one too. He used Graf as his alias when sending top-secret messages during tense times with Britain and France. Why? Because spies were everywhere. His fascination with cryptography went beyond cool gadgets. He believed private communication was key to democracy. Jefferson, founding father by day, spy mastermind by night. Number 6. The ultimate book hoarder. Jefferson didn't just love books. He couldn't live without them. He built one of the largest personal libraries in early America, collecting over 6,000 books. After the British burned down the Library of Congress in 1814, Jefferson sold his entire collection to help rebuild it. His books became the foundation of today's Library of Congress. Imagine being such a bookworm that you restart a national library. Number 5. He was a hardcore weather nerd. Before meteorologists, there was Jefferson. He recorded temperature, wind direction, and weather conditions almost every single day for 50 years. Even on the day he wrote the Declaration of Independence, he noted the temperature in Philadelphia. His detailed weather journals are still studied by scientists today. Jefferson wasn't just a leader, he was basically America's first weatherman. Number 4. His love for wine was next level. Jefferson wasn't just into fine dining, he was obsessed with wine. While in France, he toured vineyards, studied winemaking, and even tried to grow his own grapes at Monticello. Though his vineyard failed, his passion for wine helped shape America's early wine culture. Today, he's considered one of America's first wine connoisseurs. So yeah, Jefferson was basically the original sommelier.
Number 3. He shipped a giant moose to France. Jefferson had a wild way of winning arguments.
When European scientists claimed American animals were small and weak, Jefferson sent them a massive moose carcass as proof they were wrong.
The problem? By the time it arrived, it had rotted. Not exactly a fresh argument, but Jefferson remained determined to prove America's superiority, even with a decayed moose. Number 2. He created West Point. Jefferson wasn't just about politics. He shaped America's military too. In 1802, he founded the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, believing that a strong nation needed educated officers. Unlike European schools, West Point focused on engineering and science, not just combat.
Today, it's one of the world's most prestigious military academies.
Jefferson made sure America's army was built on brains as well as brawn. Number 6. The ultimate book hoarder. Jefferson didn't just love books, he couldn't live without them.
His personal collection was so massive that after the British burned the Library of Congress in 1814, he replaced it with his own books, over 6,000 of them.
His collection became the foundation of today's Library of Congress. The man was basically a walking bookstore. Number 5. He was obsessed with the weather. For 50 years, Jefferson recorded daily weather updates.
He tracked temperature, wind, and atmospheric changes with scientific precision. Even on July 4, 1776, the day he signed the Declaration of Independence, he noted the weather in Philadelphia. His journals are still studied today, proving that Jefferson was basically America's first meteorologist. Number 4. The founding father of fine wine. Jefferson didn't just enjoy wine, he studied it.
While in France, he toured vineyards, analyzed winemaking techniques, and tried to start his own vineyard at Monticello.
Even though his grape-growing experiments failed, he's still considered one of America's first wine experts. If Jefferson had a YouTube channel today, it'd probably be wine reviews and history facts. Number 3. He sent a giant moose to France. Jefferson was tired of European scientists saying that American animals were smaller and weaker than European ones. His response? He had a full-sized moose carcass shipped to France to prove them wrong. The problem? It rotted during transit. The French weren't exactly impressed, but Jefferson never stopped defending America's wildlife. Number 2. He created West Point. Jefferson didn't just shape democracy, he also shaped the U.S. military. In 1802, he founded the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, believing that soldiers should be trained in engineering and science, not just battle tactics. Today, West Point is one of the most prestigious military schools in the world, all thanks to Jefferson's vision. Number 1. He died on the 4th of July, alongside John Adams. Talk about poetic endings. On July 4, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson passed away. Just hours later, John Adams died too. Even eerier? Adams' last words were reportedly, "Thomas Jefferson survives," not knowing Jefferson had already passed. 2 founding fathers, one historic day. It's one of the strangest coincidences in history. And there you have it, 20 mind-blowing Thomas Jefferson secrets. Which one shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. But wait, if you thought these were wild, just wait until you hear about the 20 hidden secrets of colonial America. From bizarre laws to forgotten inventions, you won't believe what life was really like back then. Click here to watch now. And if you love history's hidden stories, make sure to smash that subscribe button so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for more insane history facts.